Hey, listeners! How we doing today? Welcome to Mixtapes and Mopeds with the Red Wheels Panda crew here. Hey, Panda, how's it going?
Oh, it's going great, man. I tell you, I don't know. You don't go to see a lot of movies, do you?
No.
No.
If
Yeah,
I go to see a movie, it's Star Wars, Star Trek, or the Talking Raccoon, whatever that thing is.
yeah. Well, I went to see Deadpool Wolverine last night, and
Oh,
you
well,
know
there
what?
you
I think
go.
you should probably go see that.
I could
It's
see that because I think Ryan Reynolds is absolutely hysterical, no matter
it
what that
is
guy does.
hysterical. He makes fun of Disney and Fox just throughout the entire movie, just talking to the camera and just tearing them apart. You got to go just to see him talk to the camera. It's pretty funny.
He's a roll. Love it. By the way, Panda, you do know we are the fastest growing podcast on the internet.
I've heard that somewhere. I'm not sure where. I don't think I've
You
read it
heard that
yet.
somewhere?
Yeah.
Well, so I had a very interesting topic come up with a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, and I went, huh. So the first question for you: did your dad ever talk to you when you were a kid about the birds and the bees?
No,
No, he
no,
didn't. Yeah,
never. No,
never came
and
up.
I think my mom tried to one time, but it didn't really go very well. I'm like, Mom, I got this. Gave her the big eyes one. So I
Yeah, well,
didn't
I
really.
remember it well too. I think I was held captive in like a boat. We were like in a rowboat or something. And like on a lake. And my dad, I think I was 19 or 18 or something. I don't know how the heck I was out there. And he starts to try to start going down that adventure, and I got two condoms in my back pocket. And he starts going into it like, Dad, I think we're pretty good here.
I got this covered, man.
I think we're
Oh,
pretty good here. We're okay.
oh God.
So then I
Yes.
started thinking on the flip side, I was going, what we always talking about. I have you have three boys, so you've got it much bigger than. I mean, I mean, when I've got a daughter, and I go, there's no way in hell I'm having that conversation. That's my wife's problem, and so she had her, however that talk went. But I can't tell you. So let me tell the boys. Oh, well, I don't remember. I don't think I tried to have the conversation with my son. So what about you? Did you line up the boys and get them all at one time, or go out and do
We
the rock?
Never happened. Never happened. So Jill kind of, stayed at home. She was kind of ruling the roost, and I believe she had some like limited conversations, but nothing like you would see in a movie or think that my. I don't think it was. It went fine, but I personally did not have that conversation. So I don't know if that makes me an American dad or what, but didn't do it. So I if you're listening and you go, what you didn't? I'm like, sorry, I didn't, but
So
that's the
for our
truth.
two listeners, Jack and Stone, so we can tell you now. So there's a penis and there's a
Oh,
vagina.
oh my God, are you
I can't have
serious?
that. We can't have that now. Okay.
There goes our good rating with YouTube. I'm telling you, they transcribe this and it's a big red flag.
All right. Let
Oh.
me. So,
Hey, let's get
so
our. We got a question from a listener.
all
Let's
right,
get our question. Yeah.
all right. What's the question,
The
Panda?
question was from Jack, reader Jack, who was actually one of our co-hosts last week with Stone, and he decided to throw out a question for this week. And his question is, Mr. Wheels, what is your favorite song?
We
And
we spend a lot of time talking about artists, and I think it's a good thing, and just to inspire everybody has to think about what they like. So, I'll go ahead. What is your favorite song?
dude, I tell you what, there's been a lot of hard questions that we've had to grapple with, and I think we do an okay job. It's our opinion, whatever. This is probably the hardest question that I've gotten to date because there isn't like, you know, you think of like great
You mean
rock
it
songs
wasn't
like
Dad? What's the birds and the bees? That wasn't the heart. No.
no, no,
Okay.
like Stairway to Heaven or some of these songs like Free Bird or Sweet Home
Those are
Alabama.
easy guesses.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I thought the same thing.
that's
Right.
not going to be it ever, right? And I don't even
Yeah.
like those songs. Honestly, they've been played so much. So I went through my. I have a Andy's Classics like playlist. So I went through and picked of like the 4,000 songs in there. I just went through and I'm pulling the wheels. And I know there's only one, but I got like 12. And I'm going to list off these would be in my list. Photograph from Def Leppard, Fight for Your Right to Party, Beastie Boys, When Doves Cry, Prince, Baby Driver from Simon and Garfunkel, You Shook Me All Night Long, AC/DC, You Really Got Me, Van Halen, Spirit of the Radio, Rush, Jack and Diane from John Cougar, Stone in Love from Journey, Time for Me to Fly, REO, Lonely as the Night, Billy Squire, Girlfriend, Matthew Sweet, Master Blaster from Stevie Wonder, and Misty Mountain Hop from your band Led Zeppelin. So if I had to pick
Whoa.
one song, that's a good list, isn't it? Don't you
Yeah, it's a
agree?
great list. And you
That's
know
a
what? Of course, Wheeler here, I have to have, the list of 20 as well or
right.
whatever, right? What crazy one, and so I can, weasel them all away into to go pick one. So what's the top one? What is it?
You know what? It's just because of the time this song came out and where I was kind of in my teenage years, whatever. I just I just picked Photograph from Def Leppard as just my favorite
Awesome
song. I just
song. A
love
good
that
pick.
song.
Love
Yeah.
that song. That's like right
Yeah.
for you and I, it's high school years. For
Hmm.
anybody else listening, for any listener, think about that favorite song you had. That's a hard question to answer. I had the same problem, and I went the same direction you went and thought through all those bands, and I'd left out AC/DC, probably my favorite, but I've listened to it so many times. And I don't listen to music as much as you do, but certainly I'm kind of like the pop guy, right? So I'll give my short list of like the six songs. Mine, I love the Etta James at Last. That was our wedding song, and that one always just brings a tear to whenever I hear it. And I gotta tell you, uh, I kind of bash out when I hear Adele sing "Hello," man. I have that thing. I just start screaming out "Hello," and I go, "Oh my God!" I love that. Her vocals in there are just awesome. But I get down to really my ties, and I go to Billy Joel and the Italian Restaurant or Piano Man. I can play that over and over and over and over
Mm.
again. It's just love. He just brings the warmth right back. Um, Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody, man. How do you just not start singing along?
I know it.
Galileo, Galileo, Figaro.
Bismillah.
Hey, love that. And then right off the air guitar, as soon as you hear Joe Walsh struck the first sound to "Life is Good to Me,"
Oh, yeah.
man, I have to sit and listen to that. But I'm gonna go with number one, and it's just because it makes you feel good every time you hear it, and that's the one song this guy really came out, and he just passed away here probably a year ago or 2 years ago. Don McLean and American Pie.
Oh my.
Man, that song just, I think it's 7 minutes long. But bye bye, Miss American Pie.
Yeah.
Drove my Chevy to the left. Just love that song.
That song like was a college song, like when I was in college, and I was like, so I asked Connor when we were on vacation, I was like, what songs do the frats play? Because he just got out of college not too long ago, and he was in a fraternity, and I'm like, do they play like American Pie? He goes, heck yeah, every time that song is played at every party. So it's
And Sweet Caroline, they have to
yeah,
play
oh
that.
yeah,
Oh,
oh yeah.
oh, oh.
Van Morrison's Brown Eyed Girl, So all those songs are just so classic. They're just continually recycled
50,
through all of it.
60 years and
Yeah,
still going
yeah,
strong.
yeah.
I love that. Yeah. Great question there, fan. Thank you very much for asking that question. Hey, I got a little, I was in a store the other day, and I got a little complaint or gripe. I was in this store, and my wife, and we do the 10,000 steps, as everybody knows. By the way, listeners, get your 10,000 in every day. Just good for you. We were in a store, and my wife, she goes, "Hey, this is a shirt dress." I went, "Shirt dress?" I'm like, "They have shirt dresses?" And she pulls this thing. I'm like, "Well, god damn it." I go over to where my section is, which is I got to go to the large section, and I pull out my shirt. I'm like, "Yeah, I got a shirt dress too for the size I got to go get." It's over the big. And I listen to the guys on the radio, the college football, the guys, like, "Oh, yeah, we go to IDX. It's big and tall." I know you had to go there because you're the tall guy. I had to go shopping in for the clothes. But I'm like, damn it, where is the short and fat store? I'm being discriminated against. I want the short and fat store. Where's my store at?
Oh
It
my
costs if I buy a pair of pants for $120, costs me another $60 to get them hemmed or all the little places I gotta get. It sucks. I
yeah.
will say thank you, Viore. Thank you for Lululemon. You came in because you made capri pants for people that I can get into those things and not have to go and alter them.
Oh man, I kind of have it the opposite. Like I haven't bought a pair of pants in like 20 years. They just show up and they're laying on the bed and then like try these on. I'm like, okay, I guess I got another pair of pants. And poor Jill, like she's got like longer legs than I do. She cannot buy pants in a store. She has to like everything is special ordered because her legs are just too long. So yeah, the retail folks don't really haven't really figured out the people with you know very tall or very not tall uh, challenges, and I've got the big burly challenge as well. So yeah, it's something as you get older, it gets more of a problem too.
Yes, especially, and I hate paying for the every time you get a pair of pants into that alteration. The alterations, I mean, it's just
Yeah.
I mean, we learned how to do that in like seventh grade, and I can hem a little bit. I can fix a hole in something, but hemming a pair of the bottom, I don't have that skill. I don't want that skill.
No.
But it's $60 a shot. I go,
Mhm. Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, you don't want your pants to look stupid either.
right,
Yeah.
especially with my business pants. All right, get that off my shoulders. Segment, we're going to roll into segment one right now. Is a great time, wonderful time. Every 4 years, we get this special event for everybody. We get to play the Olympics. That just brings back, especially, I always think about that with the wide world of sports when
Yes.
they're kicking that thing off and they're playing that music, and then that guy skiing down the hill in the agony of defeat and goes right over that slide and falls down, I don't know, 20 or 30 feet and wipes out a couple of got camera people along the way. Jeez. So, from the Olympics, I moved down to Atlanta back in a time period where I came down to Atlanta and moved here, Panda. He talked me into it, and it was actually that was not a real hard sell for Panda when I came down. And bonus, the Olympics were coming in town. And for anybody that ever, if you ever have that chance in your lifetime, we've got the LA Olympics coming up in 4 years, I guess. Um, go to the Olympics. It is a magical time period. Figure out I mean I lived here in the town, and I never had pre-ordered one ticket. We scalped them the entire time, and just had a blast. Which scalping's gone away now. I'm sure you can get them online. I've seen the tickets for Paris is not they're not too bad. Did you watch any of the opening ceremonies at all?
I ended up only catching part of it, and I saw it was raining. I saw they were coming in on the river, and then I ended up watching something else. So I heard there was a lot of controversy around some of the how the staging of some of the I don't know characters. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I don't really care about the opening ceremonies. I don't want to watch a bunch of people process in. I'd rather just sit and watch the event. So I didn't really watch too much of it, unfortunately.
That's the only ticket we couldn't scalp in Atlanta because it was the only one that was going the cheapest I could get. And actually, I was bartering with Steve Young, the quarterback from the 49ers. He had one ticket. He goes, "Hey, man, if you'll sit by, 600 bucks." I went, "Yeah, but I've got another person here with me. I can't just tell her to
Oh.
go home."
Oh.
He looked at me and goes, "Yeah, that's probably not a good idea." So we could never find two tickets in there. And I was trying 600 bucks. I had 1,200 bucks in my pocket. And we could never get two of them together, but yeah, so what's your favorite moments in Olympics, or what do you think? What's your times that you liked about the Olympics?
Yeah, obviously we're in the Summer Olympics. Like my first like huge massive memory, and we've had this discussion in the past, was, the Miracle on Ice. That was, back in 80. That was my first big memory. That was obviously a Winter Olympic. I would say for the Summer Olympics, I remember, I remember honestly, I was a little kid, whatever, but I remember Mark Spitz winning seven golds in
Yeah,
72, and he
72.
set a world record on every one of those. And so I just had the vaguest recollection of that. I remember that's a big deal. He was on the Wheaties boxes, and I would get Wheaties box with him on it and all that. So that was like my earliest recollection. And then obviously I remember the 84 Olympics very well. I got to play against the 84 Olympic baseball team when they came through Ohio. And I was chosen
No
to.
kidding. I never knew that.
Yeah, it was up in was it Cooper Stadium, or it was Franklin County Stadium, and then it's changed to Cooper Stadium, and so they had like Will Clark and Mark McGuire and Barry Larkin and all of these like future Hall of Fame type players on it, and we lost 4-0. It was a pretty competitive game, but so I remember that year very well. That was the first year baseball was actually an Olympic sport because it was in LA, and LA got to add that as a sport, so that was kind of cool, but. Yeah, the Olympics were always like massive every 4 years. And it used to be where you get summer and winter the same year, and then they alternated every 2 years or whatnot. I don't know if that took any of the steam out of it for me, but I would say in the last like 10 or 20 years, I've probably been less interested. But I swear, I couldn't tell you a swimmer or a gymnast going into the Olympics into the Olympics, but I will sit there and watch swimming and diving and the gymnastics like the entire time. It's just fascinating to watch these
I watched
athletes.
mountain
And
biking today for an hour, women's mountain biking for an hour
oh,
and a half
wow,
today.
wow,
It was awesome, and
yeah.
the USA kind of took second place, but it was
Uh,
awesome.
did they still do that? They used to have like cyclodromes where you would have the cyclists and
That's a
they would
good question. I love that event, but I'm
yeah,
not sure I've seen it lately.
I haven't
'Cause you're
either. I
looking
used
at that thing going, I would die doing that.
Yeah, because it's like really steep and it's not very big. So you're like going up and then you're going down and
You look at
yeah,
thinking, how the heck do you pass somebody on that deal?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
even at mountain bike climbing, that thing's only like 5 feet wide, and you're going,
yeah,
they have like two places you can pass. And the French girl that won the thing, man, she was like 4 minutes ahead of everybody. I mean, she was twiddling her thumbs. I've not yet just way, way, way ahead of everybody.
home course probably advantage there for her.
It was home course. She lives 30
Okay.
miles away or something from that.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I got to say that 72, my first memories of 72, Mark Spitz, of course, remember that like it was yesterday, but I remember being glued to the TV watching that terrorist attack in West Germany,
Oh yeah,
like the second or third week into the Olympics, it was near the end of the Olympics, and you're just like, feeling so sad for all of the things involved in that whole deal. It was just awful.
yeah.
Um, and you constantly security threat. You always have to be on guard. And um, I think the other thing too is I was always the box. I would always try to
Oh,
find the
yeah.
boxing. Sugar Ray
Yes.
Leonard. Oh my God,
Hmm.
he was just one of the best in there.
Fastest
To
hands I've ever
oh
seen. My
man,
God.
so many times. Yeah, the boxing we kind of ruled that for a while in some of those
Yeah.
weights and classes. I loved always watching that. The 80 Olympics sucked because we boycotted that. That's kind of like our prime time to being kids. All of anybody around our age kind of got screwed. I think we might have had a runner from Lancaster, John Zishka, that could have been
Mm,
in that Olympics. I don't know if he qualified, but he was one of the nation's top runners at that
yeah.
time, if
Yeah.
not if not number one, number two or three. But remember those well, and then certainly in '84 when they came out to LA. I don't know about you, but being blue, but that certainly when the Olympics came here to Atlanta, man, I counted up. We went to 17 different events, and it was just so cool. I mean, we'd scalp them that day and just find somebody. Our trick was we'd go by the limos when the limos would be pulling up. Those corporate types were they always had spare tickets and they just didn't want a scalper.
Yeah.
And golden every time it was golden. My favorite story was guy gets out of the car. He goes, "I got two for you." I go, "All right, yeah, all right." And I need two. And he goes, "I'll give them to you for free. Are you a scalper?" I go, "No, no, we're going in there." He goes, "I'm giving them to you for free, and access to our corporate box, but you have to entertain this couple." I'm like, "What's entertain me?"
What? What the?
What do you mean? So out rolls this couple from Japan, and this guy's like chairman of Bank of America or something. And out rolls this couple from Japan. I'm going over and like, all right. So we roll in. So all we had to do was sit in the box, drink, and hang out with them, and make them laugh, and watch. And we were at this swimming meet down at Georgia Tech, that swimming pavilion. It was awesome. We had the best seats. I didn't want to leave, and it happened to be like a day. It was only like a 2-hour swim day. I'm like, dang
Uh,
it. And as soon as that thing was over, that guy, the chairman, came back there and swapped them right away and got them out of there. It was not like I was going to hang out with them any longer, but it was pretty cool.
well, you make friends pretty fast, man. If that guy's trusting you with clients or
Right,
somebody.
right.
Hey, guys that I
Especially
don't
somebody from
know, I'm giving you
Japan.
free tickets. Go take care of these people. They came in from Japan.
They barely could speak a lick of English. Every I'm going, hey, yeah. It was just anyway. It was a fun time, man. And we got to see. We were at the finish line. My brother had scalped a ticket that was right, like third row, and we got to see Golden Shoes. Michael Johnson, is that was his
Mm,
name?
yeah.
Cross the 200 meters in those Golden Shoes. He got the high five, the decathlon winner. What was the decathlon winner's name? I can't remember his name right now. Um, but they were coming out for their award ceremony, and he got the high fives. It was just really cool.
Yeah.
Yep, lots of good
I
memories
missed
from the
all
Olympics.
that. I
You were
left.
in Texas or something, weren't you?
I was in San Diego, I think by then. Just I was just meeting Miss Jill, so I think I kind of
You
stuck
worked
around
out
San
well.
Diego. Yeah, it worked out.
Yeah, I remember talking to you about that. Going, dang it, you got to come back out here and
I
hang out.
know. I know. I know.
All right,
All right.
rolling into the next segment.
All right. So segment two, the dumbest thing you ever did in college. So I know for you in particular, this is very difficult because you probably have a few more options than I do. But this is literally like,
Why
you
would you
know,
think I might have a? Hey, listeners, he thinks I was a bad kid in college.
well, you were at a high university and just kind of went with the territory. So let's not say that you were any different than anybody else at that school. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
All right, maybe a little bit on the edge, on the lunatic fringe there. But I had one in particular. This was actually between my, I think, junior and senior years of college, and I was went out with we were in Lancaster, went out with some friends, and one of the guys had the great idea, like, "Hey, my dad is a member. This is Valley View, and he's got keys to golf carts because he's always golfing there. So why don't we just go there and just ride golf carts around at like 11:30 at night?" I'm like, "Hey, that sounds like a really fun idea." And so we go out there and take some golf carts, and next thing you know, we're like all over the course and just running around, maybe making a little too much noise. And next thing I know, coming over the hill were a bunch of cops cars with their lights flashing. They're on the golf course, and I'm like, "Oh, I
woo!
think we're in trouble." And so yeah, I got had to go in and see the judge the next day, and
Spent a
that
long
was
night in the pokey.
yeah, a little bit of time there in the pokey, and yeah, they ended up not even really pressing charges, but it was not a fun night, and yeah, that was clearly the dumbest thing. It was the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. So it was in my college years. So I'm gonna count that as my segment two entrant for this week. How
That's a
about
good
you?
one. We always love having and talking about that story though. That was fun because we were around in those days. And I really had to go pick through the vault of dumb things to do because it seemed like that was a kind of about a weekly thing in the the Red Wheels household at Ohio University. Pick one. I'm not. When I'm talking to college roommates, so everybody, we always shake our heads and go, "I don't know how we did it. I don't know how we did it." And I mean, I'm just happy to be here. And so I was even thinking about one of the times I used to fly around with the dean or the president of the university to talk about a high university in front of crowds of kids so the parents would go, yeah, the number one question is OU a party school? Nah, we study hard, we play hard. No, no, no. So, and one of these plane trips that we had a little prop plane, and the pilot asked me to sit up in the co-pilot seat. And this particular trip, uh, terrible weather, and we knew it was terrible weather. And I'm sitting up front, and I mean, we could not see the runway until boom, 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 and the dean behind me, she is grabbing on my arm and squeezing as tight as bloody hell as possible. And then, I mean, that's not a dummy. You go, holy crap! But I mean, I'm like smiling from loving it. It's going, wow, this is awesome. You're not scared to death of anything, but we're going, we probably shouldn't have been coming back with that weather. We probably should have gone somewhere else and should have tried to talk the pilot into that. But that's not a really dumb story. Mine goes along with Andy. So I was lucky enough to go to Daytona Beach a couple of times. And one of those times of going down there, uh, we were at a hotel. We were literally on the first floor, not the bottom floor, the first floor in this hotel. And one of the things down there, they say, do not uh, get on the balconies and cross over. Well, it happened to be about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and these particular doors in this hotel, if you go out on the balcony, they lock behind you. So it's 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and my guys that are in the room are all passed out. I go out on the balcony and cling, and the door closes behind me. I'm like, dang it. Now I'm stuck. And I look over to my friends at the next room over, and I see their doors propped open a little bit. So I went, all right, and I just jump from one balcony to the next. Well, as soon as I get to the next one, I hear tweet, 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 tweet. So some little guy in the parking lot, local security guy, is chasing after me. So I go running through the next door neighbor's room. I go running up 6 floors, and I go jump into a party that's still going on in the hotel, trying to hide. And of course, the little security guy finds me in there and brings me downstairs, and they call Daytona police. And I go, come on, let me go back to bed. I got locked out, and they go, you're not allowed to jump in balconies. They're taking you down to the pokey. So he had me arrested for mostly because I ran away from. That's probably why, don't run away from the little security police. So they throw you in a police van, and you get processed. You get in the police van, and that becomes the first kind of little scary part. And like 3 or 4 other people, and you go, "Hey, what'd you do?" "I stole a pizza." "Hey, what'd you do?" "I crushed a beer bottle." "Oh, what'd you do?" "Well, they're thinking that I might have killed somebody." We're all looking at him going,
Hello.
"Hey, I'm in the wrong van. I'm in the wrong car. Get me out of this car."
Holy shit.
Like you, man, got processed and take you down to the serious pokey in Daytona Beach. And anyway, we got out the next day, but it was a whole ordeal to get out of that nice little mess. But hire the chief police, his son, the lawyer, and you get out pretty quickly. And that's all it had to do. But that was not cheap.
Oh,
So
no.
that's my one dumbest my story of still no record.
Yeah, same here. Still no record.
No record. Just jumped a balcony about 8 foot high because I got locked out of my room. That's my dumbest thing I did in college.
All right. Well, I'm sure we will pull out more of those episodes in the future podcast. So stay tuned for more of those in upcoming days and months. All right. Segment 2 is over. Segment 3. So this one is really like what kind of drilling down on our own personalities. What are things that you know about or things that you like that other people don't know about, or they don't know about you, that you don't know that about you, is what I'm trying to say here. So for me, I'll go first. So um, my closest friends, like you, Steve, and others, do know this about me. But I always have loved to discover bands wherever I've lived, and go to shows and little clubs, and
Web
sometimes
Wilder.
yeah, Web Wilder and all this stuff, right? And sometimes they would be terrible. Sometimes they would have a CD and you buy the CD, and then you go home and you listen to it. And sometimes that CD sucks. But occasionally you find one that's like, oh, wow, these guys got something. And so I like to find those. When I was in Austin for a couple of years, I found Soul Hat, which is one of my favorite bands of all time. They're a great Austin band. Archangels was another band there. We actually, that was our Sent by Angels was the song that we danced to at our wedding. So I would always find wherever I was. Well, when I was in Atlanta, there was a band from New Jersey that moved to Atlanta and was putting out albums locally, and they were called Uncle Green.
Uncle
And
Green.
Uncle Green,
Oh
you remember
yeah.
those? I drug
Uncle
you
Green.
to a number of Uncle Green shows.
Yes, you did. That was always the deal. When Nate
Yep,
wanted to go, I wouldn't complain. I'd go and
yep.
always would figure out to have fun.
Yeah, we always had fun. So we saw them at the Cotton Club when that was in Midtown. I don't think that exists anymore. And then we went down to Virginia Highlands and saw them at Dark Horse Tavern down in the basement
Oh
there.
yeah, that's yeah, yeah,
Remember
yeah,
that?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And another great example, like, so we went there to see them, but then there was this lady who opened up for them, and I bought her CD because we both liked her, and her name was Mary Carlson, and that CD, Yelling at Mary, is one that I have listened to for 20 years. And she didn't really make it at all, but I just love this CD. So anyway, it just kind of builds and builds upon. And I have all these bands, and I have friends like Red big into doing the same. So we kind of share that info. But Uncle Green is somebody that I always, for like 20 years, I probably saw them. I was thinking after the last episode, I said I'd seen Cracker 8 times. I think I saw Uncle Green like 9 or 10 times. So actually, probably the most I've ever seen. But they're on Facebook, and I reached out to them, and I'm hopeful that we're going to get at least one of their band members to come out to our podcast and talk about kind of
Oh wow, that'd be
yeah, that
really
should be
cool.
fun. Yeah, they've all, I think, kind of moved on in their lives, but they literally have like 6 or 7 albums that are all produced by record labels and just never got that one hit. It just takes, it's cool business music, and they just never got that one hit. But it would be interesting to talk to them and just understand the frustrations and the fun and the you know how you do that for 15 years or so. So hopefully we'll have them on an upcoming show here in the next month or
That
two.
would
But
be awesome. Yeah, I'd
yeah,
love to and talk about some of those play. Yeah, especially that time period. What was the
yeah,
name of that place over there at 85? We used to go there. Red would take us to the place. We'd see the two guys that played. Oh, good golly, it was just a hole in the wall place right next
Baron
to
Strain.
Baron Strain. Thank you,
Yeah.
golly. I would not have pulled that one out of the hat.
Oh
And what
my
was the name of the
God.
bar?
I don't remember the bar, but it was right there
Baron
at
Strain. Yeah,
85. And what
right.
is
I can't
that?
think of the name of it either. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That place. We'll have to come
Yeah, that
back and
place. Yeah.
yes. Baron
Wow.
Strain. Yeah, we
Baron
followed them
Strain.
around a lot too.
Red actually hired them to play in his garage and did like an alley show with Baron Strain playing in his garage. It was so freaking loud, but that was so cool. They were mostly
And
covered.
fun. Oh, that was a blast.
Yeah,
Yes,
that was
that was a
fun.
blast.
Those are the good days. So that's for people who don't know me well. That's
Fuzzies,
kind of what I've
fuzzies,
was that what it was called?
fuzzies. Yes,
Fuzzies. Oh my
fuzzies.
God.
That was the name of the place.
So that's
Fuzzies. I
that's
don't know if it was
mine.
Fuzzies Tavern.
Yeah,
Ponce was the street.
got it.
So mine's not going to be as cool as yours. Mine's not anywhere. So mine is I share with one of the college football analysts. He talks about a little bit. He's real. I love his podcast. Brock Heward.
Mhm.
I didn't like
Mhm.
him as much as announcer at the beginning, but then as I listened to his podcast, I really like his announcing now. I mean, he does a fantastic job, has a lot of thought to it. But he shares a similar thing that most people don't know about me. And my place is I like the quiet place, and so I'm a bath taker. I skip the shower. Mine's bubble bath. I like to sit in the bubble bath, get my little silence.
No, that's
Yeah.
awesome. A bubble bath, Steve.
Bubble
Wheels
bath.
in the bubble bath.
I read my iPad. I get my quiet time, and get that instead of taking that shower, we get to sit back and relax a little bit before you dig into the day of internet. So that's my hidden secret that most people don't know about, other than my wife blabbing it out all the time. Like, he's in there taking a bubble
Oh my
bath.
God, that's awesome. I didn't even know that. That's so cool. That is so freaking cool.
Yeah. So that's the dirty hidden wheels secret, the bubble bath.
The bubble bath. All right, man. I love it. I love it.
Folks, stick around here. We have a good segment, our Dirty Niner coming up. So the Dirty Niner coming up is we grew up as kids in the 70s, 80s. I'm not sure if it lived into the 90s. It certainly did to a point. But waking up when you came home from school or when you woke up Saturday morning, you jumped out of bed. And I know it'd get me up at sometimes. I think they started at 7 a.m. or even
Mhm.
6. I'd jump up there as early. I think my parents didn't like but man, you go and find your sugar coated cereal and load it up and park yourself in front of the TV to catch the Saturday morning cartoons.
Mhm. Yep.
And they were just awesome. I saw a story on the radio the other day that said, hey, cell phones with kids, their attention is 100% into the cell phones. It's causing stress and anxiety and depression. And, we can all see that. I'd argue we need to get back into watching some Saturday morning cartoons and having a laugh a little bit and getting out a little bit. So the Dirty Niner this week is the Red Wheels Panda top cartoons. Now, both of us have a deep list here, so I'm
Mhm.
going to throw it to you. I'm gonna let you take over. You're going to get the majority of these. So, what's your number one Dirty Niner best cartoon that you think belongs at the top of the list?
There are so many that I love. Like you and I were talking, we have deep lists here. But for me, this has to go to the top. And this actually did transition to my kids through DVDs or whatnot. But Scooby Doo is the number one for me.
Yeah,
Scooby
yeah, yeah,
Doo
yeah.
is
That,
he's the goat.
yeah, I've got to admit that too. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, I just absolutely, and it was always there was always like a little story behind it, and
Yeah.
Fred and Wilma, and a little
Yeah.
learning experience, and the bad guys were catch the bad guys, so they always had a little moral to the story.
They did.
Love me, the
Yeah.
Scooby Doo, that was good, and good clean cartoon too. I love that one.
Yeah.
Good choice. Man, I really will struggle here, but I'm gonna go with I really dug the Super Friends. I
Mm.
really loved
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
Wonder Woman and Superman and Aquaman and Batman and
Mhm.
Robin and
Mhm.
the Wonder Twin
Yep.
Power.
Yes.
Was it Power Angel? I forget their thing they did, but the Super Friends. That was my Saturday morning go-to. Had to be watching those on Saturday morning. Love the Super Friends.
That was a good one. I watched that as well. That was a big one on my list. All right, so there's so many, and we're only gonna have nine, so I'm gonna have to be smart here. I'm gonna go with Johnny Quest as my
Ah,
number three on the list. So I just learned something today though. When I Googled that because I was like, wonder who the voices were for that. And do you know who Tim Matheson is? He was in
yeah, yeah,
Animal
yeah, yeah,
House.
yeah.
He was Johnny Quest. He was the voice of
No
Johnny Quest
kidding.
was a kid, right? So it was a kid, Johnny and Haji, and Race Bannon or whatever was the dad, and there was a Doctor Quest, whatever. And the kids were always like going behind their dad's back and solving dangerous problems or whatever. But yeah, so Tim Matheson as a kid was the voice of Johnny Quest, which had no idea. He's still he was in West Wing. I mean, he's been in a lot of stuff. He's a great good actor. Had no idea.
Ah, that's a good one. Yes, I did not watch that one as much, but definitely watched that one. I have to go at number three.
Four
Um,
before.
number four, one, two. Oh, number
It
four.
is.
Thank you. Yep, yep,
Yep.
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 Number four. I gotta go here. Ah, man, I gotta go with Bugs Bunny.
Oh,
Mel
classic.
Blanc. Mel
Classic.
Blanc. You know, when you talk about the Tim Matheson being that Mel Blanc, I mean, as soon as that guy passed away, probably 20 voices went away with
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
He was the
Yeah.
voice of so many characters and so many of those cartoon classics, but
Yeah.
it wouldn't matter. If I saw Bugs Bunny pop up on the screen today, I'd be watching Bugs Bunny and you
Mhm.
wascally wabbit. I mean, I would
Yep.
watch it in a heartbeat. That just would entertain the crap out of me. I'll combine that too. I mean, Bugs Bunny and the Roadrunner are kind of in the same boat, but watching Acme and the how the stupid coyote was going to blow up the Roadrunner, they were kind
Yeah.
of like
Yeah.
intertwined, same type of things. But Bugs Bunny definitely at number four.
Yeah, I would put all those Daffy Duck and the Roadrunner and the
Yeah,
wolf and then the big stupid chicken that was
chicken. Oh
always yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the
The
rooster,
chicken.
whatever he was. Yeah, they were all kind of blended together for me. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
those are great. Yeah, I had that on my list as well. I'm gonna say another one that I really like was Speed Racer. Did you ever watch Speed
Ah,
Racer?
that was the one I was almost throwing in there. That's my man. I don't know about you, but I had the helmet. I had the like the bike. It was the Go Speed Racer Go Speed
Yes.
Racer, Go
There was
Speed Racer.
Racer X
Oh,
was always the mystery.
oh
Was he
yes,
friend or foe kind of thing? Yes.
Go Speed Racer, go.
Go Speed Racer.
That was
Go
after
Speed
school.
Racer.
Come home
Go.
4 o'clock. Go Speed Racer right on at 4 o'clock.
Yep.
Yes, that was one of my absolute favorites. I mean, I haven't seen any of those on TV forever.
No.
All right, man, we're getting down to it. So I'm at number six, right? That was
Yep.
five. We're at
Yep.
six. That leaves me only two left of picks. Oh boy, oh, I can't believe them. Um, I'm gonna go just to make me laugh all the time. I just got to go with it. I got to go with Pink Panther. I
That was
just.
next on my list. Yes.
Dun-dun, 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 dun-dun. And when then Peter Sellers came out too with all his Pink Panther stuff too, man, I had to watch that. That was one of the first movies I ever saw on the screen. Um, that just slapstick comedy and and then the music and yes, love the Pink Panther.
Yeah. So my boys grew up with Steve Martin playing that role versus Peter Sellers. But yeah, the cartoon version was literally, this Pink Panther, whatever, and just it was just so unique. He was just always, they would set traps for him, but he would end up winning the day. It was very it was different. So I enjoyed that. It was a somewhat intelligent cartoon. So I like that one. Good call. All right, so that was six. Number seven, we are definitely running up against it. There's some that. All right, I have to put this on, so I might as well do it now. Popeye the Sailor
Oh
Man.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That was right there. That was good. Yeah, I was debating for my last one. Whoo! Popeye the Sailor Man.
Brutus and Olive
Brutus
Oil and
Oliver. Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I love the Popeye. They watched that. It was always on after school. You'd watch it all the time and rerun after rerun. I mean, dumb plots, but it's
Dumb.
always
Just dumb.
dumb.
Didn't
Dumb.
matter.
I'm the Sailor Man. Who played Robin?
Robin Williams did.
Robin
Yeah,
Williams, right? Yeah,
yeah,
that was
yeah,
pretty good.
yeah.
All right. I know
Number
I'm not going to get to there. I've got three left, and I'm going to go with there's two that are just golden ones. I hope you get one of them, but I got to go with the one I really always loved. It was hey hey hey, It's
Uh,
Fat Albert. I
that was my
love
next one too. Fat Albert.
I
Oh hell
love me
yeah.
that watching old Bill Cosby and I mean he
Hmm.
was I think two of the voices of that and that was just one of my favorite. I love the Fat Albert show. I would watch that all the time too. That was Saturday morning. I think that was 11 a.m. Saturday mornings. It was kind of the last one of the morning you're gonna go. As soon as Fat Albert was over, time to go do something your parents I didn't want to go do, but usually that was the last one of the day for Saturday morning cartoons.
Oh, Fat
Number
Albert. Yeah.
9,
Number
last of
nine.
the Dirty Niners.
This is a little, maybe, I don't know, a little bit controversial. I'm not sure, but when we grew up, this group was really big in the 70s for sure. They were on, not the human version was on TV on Wild World of Sports all the time, but they ended up having their own cartoon, and it was the Harlem Globetrotters. The
Oh yeah,
cartoon.
yeah, yeah. That
Yeah,
was a good one.
Curly and
Yeah,
Meadowlark Lemon. And so they had a cartoon. They were real people, but they had a cartoon. The Jacksons had their own cartoon, and a lot of these famous people did their own. The Monkeys and all of these. But Harlem Globetrotters, because it was basketball. I love basketball, and I love Curly
that was a good
Neal.
one. I
It
love the
was good.
Harlem Globetrotters, and
Yeah.
if the team was actually the live one would come out, you'd watch with
Oh yeah.
Curly, and yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
always would watch that, and
Yeah.
how they would beat the Nationals every single time, and it was just so much fun. That was a great the whole franchise thing there is just awesome.
Yeah. I miss those
I
days.
think the Savannah Bananas, kind of took some of their
Hmm.
ideas and
It's very
incorporated that.
similar.
Yep.
Agreed.
And
I was
made it
thinking that the other
making
day.
fun baseball is a
Yeah.
very similar idea. Yep.
They just sold out. The Bananas just sold out 42,000 at the National Stadium. Isn't that crazy to watch a baseball game for of people you don't
Insane.
know?
I mean, somebody
Yeah,
was asking me about them. I go, I think they're college players. And they go, no. I looked it up. They stopped that 2 years ago. They got out of that league. Now they are purely a league of like six teams that are all about just putting on shows and playing each other. And and obviously there's a demand for it. I mean, look at it, sold out everywhere.
yeah,
And it's not only them being funny, it's in these other small town cities that are, driving attendance
yeah,
and it's affordable and entertaining. It's such an awesome concept.
yeah. It is. Hoping
I
they
hope
do a
they
bunch
continue
again.
to grow it. I was going, dang it, they need something like that up there in big Lancaster, Ohio, or got to find another team around, those other places that we could go see them. There, Savannah's
Yeah,
just a little bit of a trip to get to it.
yeah.
So I got to go with some honorable mentions. We know there's a lot of folks out there, and I got my first two big honorable mentions: the Jetsons.
Mm,
Man, I always loved the Jetsons and George
yes.
and what was George's wife's name? I don't remember. It's not Wilma. George. So that
George.
goes along with the next one is the Flintstones.
Flintstones.
Yeah,
Yes.
man, that was my debate was Fat Albert or the Flintstones, and watched that all the time. That was after school. Always
Those
watched
after
the Flintstones.
school. Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Then I also had in there. I always got a kick out of. There were two Hong Kong Fooey. I always got
Exactly. I remember Hong Kong
Hong
Philly.
Kong Fooey. Chicka, chicka. Hong Kong Fooey. I love the Hong Kong Fooey. That was just a pure entertainment. And then last one is my one of my college roommates and good friends in the world. It's his nickname, and he got it from this cartoon as Thundar, the Barbarian. Thundar, the
What?
Barbarian.
I don't remember that.
So Thundar the Barbarian was the guy could go do anything, and my college roommate, we could go back to some of the dumb things, the list, and he and I were involved in a lot of them.
Yeah,
But
I didn't know that one. I have to look into it.
Thundar, Mr. Guy. Yep, he's Thundar. All right, folks. That's the Dirty Niner. You got the top nine. So stay tuned, man. Next podcast coming up. We're gonna be diving into college football. The other thing is we've got some very interesting guests we're getting lined up to be a part in this podcast. We're trying to get some new ones lined up, but definitely stay tuned. You want to be listening to this college football. This particular now is the opening of the 12, and I think we've got a lot to talk about with the big season coming ahead, and it'll be a good show. And we're going to bring in one of the guests that we're going to bring a female voice into this, and we're
Yeah.
going to let her go pick what she thinks what's going to be happening and some of the thoughts this year too. So everybody stay tuned.
She's a little biased, but other than that, she's pretty smart about talking.
A little biased, a little, all right, a little biased.
Just a little, but we
So
all are. It's okay. It's all good.
typically you've had like stump the wheels. Do you have the
Yes,
stump the wheels question this week?
I do, and I felt like the first time it was a little bit of a hard one, so I'm giving you a little bit of an easier one. Now, if you don't get it, this might be humiliating for you, but I
Oh, it'll
think
be
you're gonna.
humiliating. I'm pretty
All right,
sure.
all right. Here we go. So again, movie quote, stump wheels. Here we go. You're going to need a bigger boat.
All I can think of is Beverly Hills Cop, and that's not it.
No, that's not it.
And then I think of Bruce Willis and Die Hard. That's not it.
No, it's a '70s movie. Probably the one of the two or three biggest movies of the '70s.
Um, all I can think of is that Ernest Borgnine movie of the ship sinking. And I can't think of what that movie is.
Oh, not that one. Dun,
I don't have it.
dun,
What? All right, what is it? Oh, Jaws. There we go. You're gonna need a bigger boat. Was that who was the actor?
So Roy Scheider is like throwing chum into the water to try to attract the shark. And then he turns around and the shark comes up and he's like this massive thing. And he kind of stands straight up and he's like peeing down his leg. And he kind of walks back into the cabin. And he turns to the guy and goes, "You're going to need a bigger boat."
Good one. That's a really good one. I only watched that movie maybe once, maybe twice.
Okay. So there you
Yeah,
go.
that one was not just be the sheer fear, just
Yeah.
of I didn't ever want to be afraid of going in the water. Not like I mean, I watched it probably in my 20s or 30s. I didn't watch it back in the day when it first came out. I stayed away from it.
It scared. I went when it came out. I don't know how old I was, but it scared. I couldn't sleep for like a month. That scared the
I mean, movies
beast.
like that, my wife would be going, I'm never going to go in the water ever again. And she doesn't because she thinks that a shark's going to come eat her in Lake Lanier. Sorry, honey, but it's true. You stumped the wheels again.
I
And I'm sure
did two for
everybody on
two,
the pod
baby.
and everybody out there is going, I know that one, I know that
Yeah,
one. Why can't
everybody else is
he
like,
answer
"Come on, you dummy, you better know
it?
that." Uh,
Good podcast, Mr.
th-
Panda. We will look at
thanks.
all the listeners. Please post questions. Make us even the fastest growing podcast. We got to double that audience. We love you watching, listening, and any comments and feedback. Very welcome. Thanks, everybody.